What district, Mike?
District 2.
District 2. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Glenn.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Trump Club, for having me today. I'm a medical professional, so I carry charts with me, so I'm used to that. My name is Mike Crimi, and I'm running for County Commission District 2. I'm a business owner in Marion County. I own Express Care of Bellevue, where I serve as a physician assistant. Currently, I'm the largest employer in the south end of the county. I was born in East Orange, New Jersey, where my wonderful parents adopted me, and we moved to Florida when I was 12 years old. I graduated from Lakeward High School, went to Central Florida Community College, where I graduated from the EMT paramedic program and got my Associate of Arts degree. I then attended the University of Florida and received a bachelor's degree in health-related professions. I also received my firefighter and smoke diver degree from Florida State Fire College. I then received my master's degree as a physician assistant, University of Nebraska, and then proudly served 3 years in the United States Army as a combat medic. I have 3 beautiful children who all live and work here in Marion County, and 3 grandchildren who I am most proud of. I've been very blessed to be successful in my medical practice, which has now afforded me the opportunity to serve our county in other ways. That's why I've decided to run for county commissioner. I believe I can make some much needed changes within our county that will save us taxpayers all a lot of money. I've watched over the last 8 years, our current commission has made some huge costly mistakes. Some mistakes costing us over $30 million each. For instance, FedEx Road to Nowhere, the Oxford landfill, as well as the nightmare lawsuit in the Ocala Ranch developer. These things under the proper watch of an educated professional would never have occurred. A true conservative leader would have stopped them long before they've ever happened. When I'm elected, I believe implementing an employee health care clinic can save millions of dollars in insurance premiums and benefits that we are currently paying. I have the knowledge and expertise to set up such a clinic without having to hire outside consultants that the current commission cannot seem to make a move without doing. We don't need paid consultants for every move we make. I asked them, why do we have hired staff? I would also like to do a review of all county departments. We've been hearing for years about the problems in the road and building department, and they must be restructured to run more cost-effective and efficiently. I'm also an advocate for term limits. 8 is enough. Unlike my opponent, I will not seek a 3rd term if I'm not able to make strong cost savings changes in 8 years. It's then time to allow someone with a new, fresh perspective to try. That is a true servant leader, and that is what I will give back to my community. My door is always open. I look forward to speaking to each and every one of you. Thank you, and I humbly ask for your vote on August 28th. My name is Mike Crimi. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Mike, what are your top 3 priorities if you were a county commissioner?
Top 3 priorities. Well, one is I want to implement a county health clinic. This could save millions of dollars for the taxpayers. 2 is I really think we have to analyze all the county departments for waste spending and efficiency. And 3, I want to break up the current leadership. We need 5 commissioners on the board, not 4. My opponent and Commissioner Zalek have voted the exact same way in the past 537 votes, 99.1% of the time.
List 3 things you'd cut, Mike, from the commissioner's budget, and why would you cut them?
Well, first I would thoroughly review the budget. I haven't thoroughly reviewed it, and I don't get to see what the current commissioners see. But for what I have seen, I would definitely cut travel expenses. Look, no one pays me to drive to work, and travel expenses are very, very easily abused. I have to watch travel expenses in my healthcare businesses very closely.
Thank you. Regarding the incumbent's voting record, and there is someone already currently in the seat, regarding the incumbent's voting record, is there anything you would have voted different, Mike, and why?
Well, I would have definitely voted back in 2011 differently on the Oxford landfill, and I would have definitely done some prior research prior to the road to nowhere out in the FedEx on the Northwest Highway, off of Northwest Highway 40.
Mike, please explain your stand as a commissioner regarding incentives to bring businesses to Marion County?
I'm okay with some incentives as long as they're mutually beneficial. I believe that before we spend and defer any taxpayers' money, careful analysis has to definitely go to avoid millions of dollars in mistakes. But I'm okay with some incentives. But the county, which is a business, needs to benefit from those incentives. There needs to be a return on the investment.
I don't know if you're aware of this or not, Mike, but if you could please give us a brief explanation of the county's CNG, which stands for Compressed Natural Gas Program, and include who owns it and operates the compressed natural gas facility, which sells to the public and the private sector.
I'm somewhat familiar with it. I know it was a high risk, very risky, speculative deal. It cost the taxpayers in the neighborhood of $30 million. It was a private owner. But what I'd like to say more about that in general is that deals like this, when they fail, the liability of these deals should not fall financially 100% on the county. They should fall on this. The liability should fall where it belongs, on the failed component. I mean, natural gas, trying to convert it into a vehicle to run, I'm sure they give them all these studies, and quite frankly, if it was such a great thing to save money, I'm sure Ford and Chevy and Chrysler, they would have done this a long time ago. I mean, the volatility of natural gas is very high, and when you put torque on an engine, you raise the temperature and you blow up an engine. I mean, those studies have been done, and I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure of all the smoke and mirrors that occurred to convince the county commission to vote that way and waste $30 million, but I wouldn't have voted for it.
Mike, one of the reasons local governments approve lowest bid, and the old expression, low bid gets it, is to ensure we get the most bang for our buck. What are your thoughts on the 2011 $20 million taxpayer expenditure for solid waste in Sumter County that was not put out for bids? It was just awarded to ACMS, which is the company, and is still not being used. It's rather lengthy if you need me to repeat it.
I think it was a high-risk deal. I think it was, there was some speculation involved in there, and when I'm elected, I'm not going to engage in any of these high-risk deals with taxpayers' money. It seemed like a really good deal, $8 a ton. It all seemed great, but the gap in time makes it a very high-risk deal. You're spending money in the heat of the recession in 2011 that we didn't have for something that was going to occur in 2019 to 20 that we have to spend more money to get ready, to get the county ready to bring our trash elsewhere. Everything should be put out for bid. The baseline landfill had two other options to expand. This was in the heart of the recession. The other thing we could have done, I mean, you couldn't give land away in 2011. The county had all the time to go find 1,000 acres or what have you, whatever it takes for a landfill, and it only takes 5 years to go from purchase to permit to development of a landfill. And quite frankly, I believe we can do it less expensive. Do it yourself is less expensive. And we had plenty of opportunity during the recession. The land prices are not getting any better, and actually they're going up. And we paid $20 million speculatively. It seemed like a good deal. It's not sustainable. We could have done it a lot less expensive ourselves. And the other thing, if I may just add this, is that currently the third largest solid waste company in Florida is purchasing the Oxford landfill. And don't think for a second that they're not going to try to use up that airspace with solid waste that they're getting paid more than $8 a ton for. Now let's go back and try to get our $20 million back when they use up all our airspace. That's high risk and it's speculative. And with a little bit of foresight and forward thinking, we wouldn't be in this position today, and we'd have our own landfill.
The ACMS / Heart of Florida landfill, they had a name change. It's been reported has been sold. And you just alluded to that. For the past 7 years, the board has been aggressively trying to set up an authority. And an authority is basically bringing additional municipalities to help a private business, bottom line. After the sale was announced, they decided to stop efforts for an authority. Do you support this stand now, and why?
I don't understand the question, I'm sorry.
That's
Maybe you could
okay.
say it again. Let me listen again.
The ACMS/Heart of Florida landfill, it's
Okay.
been reported that it's been sold.
Okay.
For the past 7 years, the board has been aggressively trying to set up an authority, which means bringing additional municipalities to bring their garbage, their trash to the ACMS landfill. In other words, government's been working to help a private business. After the sale was announced, the current board, decided to stop efforts for an authority. Do you support this stand, and why? To stop the authority, or whatever your thoughts are on the matter.
To stop the authority to bring trash outside the county? Or
Bring other municipalities to bring their trash there.
No, I don't support that.
Okay. Knowing all this, are you in support of expanding the baseline landfill if for no other reason than for insurance purposes, in event we ever have a problem with ACMS or the new owner, so we have somewhere we can take our trash, Marion County's trash?
Absolutely, I'm supportive of expanding it. You're in control of it. You can do it a lot less expensive, and you have control. Absolutely.
First responders, as you know as well as anyone, Mike, are a vital part of everyone's safety. Marion County has become a training ground for entry-level first responders due to low salaries and benefits. What would Mike do to help keep those that we have invested tax dollars through education, training, etc., to remain here in Marion County?
Well, the firefighters of Marion County, they're jumping ship. They're leaving Marion County. They're going for better paying jobs. What would I do? I would pay them. I would give them benefits. I would train them. I'd give them good equipment, all to the national average pay scale, all to the NFPA standards, which is the gold standard. The cost of onboarding a new firefighter for the first year is anywhere between $60,000 and $100,000. If that employment terminates within the first year, it goes up to about $90,000 to $150,000. In the last 7 years, firefighters have received 0% cost of living increase. Many left the county for better paying jobs. That resulted in less firefighters and $6.1 million of overtime, plus taxes, plus benefits. Overtime wages is not only a waste of taxpayers' money, but overtime, and I was a first responder, it causes sleep deprivation because you're now working not 24 hours on, you're working 48, maybe 72. And sleep deprivation is equal to mental and physical impairment, and mental and physical impairment is costing Marion County taxpayers a lot of money because of accidents. And accidents costing us money create disability claims. Conveniently, it's an election year, and in the last 2 weeks, the current commission has reopened discussion finally. I won't wait 8 years. I'll do it within the first 8 days.
Thank you. 2 more to go. And in government, everything is an acronym, CEP. Are you familiar with the CEP?
CEP.
Okay. Do you support taxpayer dollars funding the CEP, and why? And you can also go to explain, if you don't mind, definitely with the role the CEP plays.
It's a chamber and economic partnership. Used to be the Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Council, and they come together and start working together. I think it's a great organization. Do I support taxpayer dollars funding it? I think it's like what I support. Government should partner with private sector. Should not necessarily compete with it. I think that some funding is good. I think it really should be closely analyzed every quarter, though, and make sure the county as a business is getting a return on its investment. But I support some funding. It just really needs to be analyzed and see what the benefit is to the county. When the equation gets turned upside down and the county's no longer benefiting from putting over $300,000 a year in it, then we really need to take a hard look and reevaluate the funding.
And last one, part of what a county commissioner is to make policy for the county. That's part of your role. And as a county commissioner, you only have the authority, you can ratify, but only the authority to hire the county administrator and the county attorney. Are there any changes, no, you're not in office, but are there any changes that you've noticed that you'd like to see on either one of those two employees?
I think they're both doing a really great job. I believe that they're highly qualified for the position. They're the right people for the job. The only thing I don't want to see is that there's no special interest, given the title of their profession, that's incorporated into county business in any way. It should remain strictly county business and the benefit of the county.
Good enough. Mike, I want to thank you, and now it's time for your closing remarks, please.
Closing remarks. There are many constitutions that as Americans we have a right to, and as Americans we also have the freedom to choose our elected officials by voting. Elected officials are not entitled to the position that they serve. I'm not running against my opponent. I'm running for the seat of County Commission District 2. My name is Mike Crimi, and I hope that you remember me on August 28th when you vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.